Some of you remember writing a found poem before. We did it last semester, right? If not, that's okay. I will teach you how to do it if you weren't here then or whatever. But what a found poem is to take existing text, right? So something that's already written and published and out there, and making something new out of it. All right. So think about a collage of pictures. You guys seen those? Like a picture collage? Or made them even? I bet some of you have made them. Or have like frames in your house that can be collages that your parents put pictures in or whatever. So think about it as the poetry equivalent of picture collage. Okay. So you can find the text anywhere, really. I mean, I've done some found poetry with students before when we were in a physical, like a brick and mortar physical classroom, where we've done, show you a couple of pictures. So for example, it's really blurry, but if you can see, this is a book page. See, it's like a page of a book that they've altered. And so they kind of crossed out or covered over the words that were there before and kind of highlighted the words that they wanted to make their poem out of. Right? And good memory, Ty. That's funny. Now I have some other ones. I'm just not sure where they are right now. Oh, here's another one. So if you had, so this is something too you guys could do at home. Like if you have magazines, you could cut out words from and make them into found poetry. Those I call the ones where you cut out the words like this out of magazines or newspapers or whatever. I call those ransom note poems because that's what they look like to me. But it's just another kind of found poetry. Yeah, I like to call those ransom note poems, and the ones like this, like if you just blacked out the words, I call them classified poems or redacted poems. But it's just a different way of making found poetry. But right now, we are using song lyrics, right? So if you go back to the assignment I gave you guys to start on yesterday, that is not loading for some reason. What's happening here? There we go. So the assignment I gave you yesterday to start on the first part, right? The part one is finding the examples of song lyrics in the music and putting them here so that you have your examples kind of in front of you, right? So we are talking about the next step, the step after you find your examples. And I know some of you probably don't have all your examples found yet, and that's okay. I'll give you more time to do that. But I did want to just talk a little bit about found poetry before that, just in case if you get it done, you can start working on the poem part. Okay, so a minimum of 10 lines. Now, there are more examples here than 10. So just so you are aware, you're not going to necessarily use every single example that you find. Okay. Some of them, like depending on your theme, the onomatopoeia might not really fit into it or something like that. Right. So it's not a huge deal if you don't use every example, but I also left you a couple of empty spaces at the bottom, and you can add more if you want. If you find some lines that you really like that you want to use, even though you already have one of those, imagery or something. Okay. So you're absolutely going to rearrange these lines. They don't need to be in the order that you found them. And they should not all be from the same poem or song. Remember, I told you that. You're making something new. So if you use all your found text from the same poem or same song or poem, I guess I can say that, then you're not likely to make something new out of it. You're basically making the same thing. Does that make sense? Because it's going to have the same like theme or story or whatever. So I suggest you definitely use at least multiple songs from the same singer. But you can vary them all over the place. I just found it easier for me when I was looking for lyrics to use one band. Okay. So you will want to rearrange the lines into a poem that makes something new with figurative language, obviously. That's what your examples are. And then you want to give your found poem a title, a byline, which is you, because you're making something new out of the lyrics. And then you're going to say, it's a found poem from song lyrics. And then you have all of those there so that, you don't have to like cite them at the bottom of your poem. You have them here. You just have to say, it's a found poem. I didn't make up these words. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Because it's for educational purposes. You're making something new, which is why it's not plagiarism. Okay? You're making something new out of it. And you're telling everybody, this is found text. I found it. So, I didn't make it up, but I made something out of it. Would you like to see a couple of mine? So let me show you what I did for this. And it's the found poem is not done yet, but I'll just show you kind of what I did. For this example for your actual assignment. So I told you I used Led Zeppelin. So all of these quotes from song lyrics I found are from Led Zeppelin poems. What, Led Zeppelin? It's a band, and yeah, it was just easier to use one band, and I knew I could find just about anything I wanted because they have so many songs. If you got somebody that's only got like a single out, what are you going to do? You only have that one song to use, and remember, Nate, even though I maybe put more than I needed to on here because I didn't really know where my found poem was going. So I don't expect you guys to have quite as much. But like this one has like different metaphors in the same song that I put. So, right, there's metaphors, there's similes like the wind, personification, hyperbole. So I've got all of these, but you look at, I could not find onomatopoeia in their music, and I looked through a lot. So this is the closest I could get, which is not going to fit into my poem. So that's something that's not going to go into my poem because it just doesn't fit. And so far, this is what I have when I rearranged the lyrics into a found poem, but it's definitely not done. Like, I don't even know if this is how it's going to start, because I'm still rearranging. So I just put the lines that I liked the best, and I probably won't use all of these, but these are the lines that I liked the best. So I put them all down there, so then I can start moving them around. Okay. So that's my process for creating the found poem for this assignment. Just, I thought you guys might like to see one. I wrote this a couple years ago, but every time I look at it, I end up revising it more. So it's very different than it was when I very first wrote it. But I used reality show titles for this one. And it's just another type of found poem. And, you know, if you guys like the found poem part of this assignment, but not so much finding the lyrics, maybe something like this would be a good one for you to play around with later. So this is how I want you guys to indicate that it's a found poem. By your title and byline somewhere. It can be under or above, but you need to say that it's a found poem and what the found text is, right? So you would say found poem song lyrics. And I would probably say Led Zeppelin song lyrics, right? So, which I haven't titled this yet either because I'm just not quite there yet. But for this one, it has a title. It has that saying that it's a found poem and my byline. So if you can see what I did, and I kind of organized the reality show titles, and some are really old, but some are, I had to add some new ones in there. So it goes, the surreal life is this, your strange addiction caught on camera. So you really think you can dance locked up in Hell's Kitchen with the masked singer in Top Gear? Destination Truth could just be the voice, you know, a paranormal witness. Or it could just possibly be the world's best dream job and be wickedly perfect. Because we all know that high society miracle workers get armed and famous cops to arrest the Tiger King on Project Runway. Which will it be? Black Gold or Miami Ink? Nailed it. But hey, Carol, there are 1,000 ways to die. For instance, 30 days of freak encounters, naked and afraid with the top sniper. Think on this before you binge. Could you be addicted to oddities? Reality TV, a gold rush, a downfall. Yeah, there were a couple of newer ones. The Masked Singer is more recent, and the Tiger King was more recent. Nailed It, I think, is more recent. I don't know. I don't watch reality TV. I looked up a list of the titles. The only ones I watch are maybe like the house renovation ones. But I should, there's like a Lego one now, right? I should add something about Legos in next time I revise it. So I know that's why I said Carol here, because that crazy thing. I didn't watch that either, but I know what it is about. Yeah, I've heard. I haven't seen it. Okay, so do you guys have any questions about found poetry, about turning your lyrics, your examples into a poem? None of this. Okay. You guys got it. Anybody need the assignment document if you didn't get it yesterday? Here, I'll put it in there just in case. Here, you should probably copy this first, Nathan. I'm not sure if you got it yesterday. If you already got it, you don't need to get it again. No, she's like some other person. Okay. Yeah, she wasn't the Tiger King's wife. She's some other, like, she had a tiger rescue or something. So they're like against each other because he was like a circus guy, kind of. I don't know. My husband was watching it. No.